So in the first part of the interview, Marc gave us an overview of the space sector in Singapore and its growth. But what are the opportunities for the Spanish aerospace engineers here in Singapore? So Marc, what do you think are the opportunities that are now arising here in Singapore?
Singapore has, at the end of the day, every technical profile is very much welcome in Singapore. Singapore has this a bit older mindset or this culture that pushes kids or new engineers and all that towards the, let's say, the classic trinity of what your grandma wants you to become, right? Oh, I want my grandson to be a doctor or be a lawyer or be a banker because you're ready to do wealth as well-paid jobs, right? So in general, they tend to have a shortage of technical profiles. So purely technical profiles, technical in the hard skills. So yeah, that's the main thing that there's openings for in Singapore. At the same time though, Singapore again is very focused on wealth, the financial sector and all that. So there's not a lot of openings in those roles, but I really believe that any technical person coming from abroad could be able to find an opportunity here.
So they can find an opportunity at the Spanish aerospace, but how are Spanish engineers regarded here in Singapore?
Very well regarded.
That's great news.
Yes, it's very great news, but it's very well regarded. But how to put it? It's not like they would see your CV and say, "Oh, your Spanish is amazing. Let's have you aboard." It's not that in Spain we have this big university institutions like in the US. We can have the MIT or Caltech or even Irvine in the aerospace sector. We don't have that. So we don't have a CV that just by the fact that we are coming from Spain shows that pops out. Okay, but what do we have? We tend to exceed expectations by quite a lot, and that's mainly not because we have a very amazing technical skills. How to put it? When we study engineering, what we study is the science behind engineering. And applying that science becomes just a consequence of what we know, of what we have developed. Whereas in most other countries, the way they learn is how to solve that one problem for that engineering field. So for us, it's way easier to adapt to different industries or change different industries, different companies themselves, different ways of doing things, because I would say our foundation tends to be better than other nationalities. That's one in terms of engineers, but Spanish engineers, we are Spanish and we are engineers, right? So I was talking about engineers, and what being Spanish gives us, at least in my experience, is our culture, the way we grew up. I don't know where it comes from, but we tend to be able to we have the soft skills usually.
Exactly, we have the soft skills.
Right?
Yeah.
So we tend to be able to speak to very different audiences, very high profile people, but at the same time have our hands dirty and on the ground, thread all those people together, manage people in teams or be better team players sometimes, have that empathy. So all that together with hard technical skills is what they don't expect pure engineers to have.
Yeah.
That's why we tend to exceed those expectations.
Exactly. We have the best of both worlds.
Yes,
so we
yes.
have the hard skills that come from the flexibility that maybe gives us the degree, and then the soft skills that being Spanish, I guess, brings
exactly.
to the field. Yes. And we have talked about opportunities, but is there a specific subsector that is maybe arising or it gets new jobs created in Singapore in the aerospace sector?
Not in the aerospace sector, but everywhere across the board is data engineering. Of course, if I say data engineering, what you may think about the first is phone apps that gather data, produce it, and machine learning and all that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's true, but linking it to the aerospace or to any more, let's say, non-IT type of role, it can give whichever professional a big edge. And what do I mean by that? Imagine that you are designing in my case, designing a component for satellite. And my company is quite young, but let's say a big company like Airbus, something like that, has been having that data about that component for many years. And now if you are able to generate some information based on that old data that helps you be then a better designer, having that data engineering component in your skill set can give you that edge that I was talking about in terms of being a much better technical designer in that product. So it's data engineering in that sense, using past data to generate new information so our products can become better.
Yes, so take notes of that. And finally, Marc, I want to end this interview with some final advice for Spanish aerospace engineers like yourself that had this kind of international ambition and wanted to pursue an international career. So what advice would you give them?
Be comfortable with English. Learn English. Any language is good. As many languages as possible are good, but main thing is be comfortable with English. As I was saying earlier, we've got the hard skills. No one especially thinking about mainly young engineers, because maybe it's the most common type of profile that is coming out now and think, oh, maybe I want to be out, right? It's the hard skills are there. You know that, and then we give things for granted. There's things that we give for granted that are not present here, like I was saying earlier, right? So it's all a matter of you being able to showcase that, and that means being able to speak to people. So be comfortable with your English. Any other languages, again, as I was saying, it's a bonus. It's all that. So it's mainly that, and just that to be away. It's amazing. Of course, we can't forget that in a country like Singapore, you need to obtain a visa, and for that, sometimes you may need other things like years of experience, more diplomas, more qualifications, all that. But that's secondary. I'd say if you are interested in going out, just English, talk to people, reach out to people, even on LinkedIn. If you are interested in a position in Singapore that you see, don't be shy. That also makes a difference. You know, it's I was saying earlier, we had those soft skills, so use them.
Yeah. So be confident with that, because you have the technical part, the soft skills, and English is now really evolving. Yeah. Yes. So good luck. And thank you so much, Marc, for this interview and for the topics that you have
It's been a massive
raised.
pleasure.
No, it's been a pleasure to have you here. I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you so much for listening. See you in the next interview.